noticed how some companies, they just seem to have this knack for navigating all the crazy complexities of the business world?
Yeah, they always seem to be making these like really smart moves and adapting super quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like they always stay ahead of the curve.
It's like they have some secret sauce, right?
Totally.
Well, we're calling that secret sauce business IQ. It's basically an organization's ability to think, reason, and learn, but like really effectively. And today we're doing a deep dive into how a company called Bear Cognition is all about helping businesses boost that very IQ.
It's not just about drowning in data, right?
No.
It's about truly understanding that data and then actually using it to get results.
Right, exactly. It's like having a massive library, but if you can't read or understand any of the books, what's the point? It's just wasted potential.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's where Bear Cognition comes in. They're kind of like providing that reading comprehension layer,
Yeah.
through these intelligent solutions.
They're engineering a smarter way for companies to actually operate. And it's impacting everything. We're talking daily tasks, all the way up to those big long-term strategies.
And we've got all their materials right here, laying out their core beliefs, how they work, all that good stuff. Our mission today is to really break down how they're aiming to elevate a business's ability to make those smart decisions and operate super efficiently.
So let's kick things off by talking about their fundamental approach, okay?
Okay.
They're all about applying this science of excellence, and get this, they call it business cognition.
Business cognition.
Yeah, like we're talking about the actual thinking and learning processes of an organization.
Wow.
Their big goal is to go way beyond just gut feelings and implement data-driven strategies. The kind that leads to smarter decisions, smoother operations, and you guessed it, measurable success.
Okay, so it's not just about solving problems as they pop up. It's like they're looking at the actual thought processes of the business.
Exactly. It's fascinating, isn't it? What if you could actually like engineer your company to think better? That's what they're aiming for.
It's like building a better brain for your business.
Exactly.
All right, so how do they actually do this?
Well, they've got this thing they call their software with a service model, SWAS.
Okay, SWAS. I've heard of sauce, so is it like that?
It's similar, but with a key difference. You know how with traditional software vendors, they just kind of give you the tools and then they're like, good luck.
Yeah, figure it out yourself.
Exactly. But Bear Cognition, they actually blend their cutting-edge software with like hands-on expertise.
Well, that's interesting. So they're not just giving you the keys to a fancy car, they're teaching you how to drive it.
Exactly. They're right there with you, providing those driving lessons and the ongoing support you need to really navigate and use their systems.
So it's like a partnership, right? You're not just adopting some new tech and hoping for the best. You're actually working together to tailor the intelligence to your specific situation.
Exactly. It's about making sure the technology is not only set up smoothly, but also that it's constantly being adjusted and refined to line up with your goals. And, your goals are always changing as your business grows.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge frustration for a lot of companies, right? They buy into these really powerful tools, but they can't quite figure out how to integrate them to see the real benefits.
Right, and that's where this SWAS model really shines. It's that combo of the agility of cloud-based software
Yeah.
and the guidance of those experienced consultants. It's designed for continuous improvement, so you're not just, stuck with something that becomes outdated.
Okay, so they're all about making sure you're actually getting value from the tech.
100%. And here's where I think their philosophy gets really interesting. They have this problem first, tech second approach.
Problem first, tech second. That sounds pretty intuitive, but I feel like a lot of businesses get that backwards.
All the time. They see some shiny new software and they think, oh, this is going to solve all my problems. Boom, instant solution.
A magic bullet.
Yeah, but Bear Cognition, they say, hold on, let's take a step back.
Okay.
They want to understand your goals, what challenges you're facing, those inefficiencies that are holding you back. They actually have a collaborative review process where they work directly with your team.
Okay, so they're really getting into the nitty-gritty, figuring out where technology can actually make a difference, not just throwing tech at the problem.
Exactly. It's about diagnosing the bottlenecks before prescribing the remedy. And the really cool part is that their solutions are designed to be tailored and scalable, so they grow with your business.
You're not locked into something that's going to be obsolete in a couple of years. You can adapt.
Exactly. So now that we've got a feel for their overall approach, let's dive into some of the specific areas they focus on and how those can really bump up that business IQ.
All right, let's do it.
First up is data integration and management. Now, every business has data, right?
Tons of it.
But the question is that data actually working for you?
That's a good question.
Bear Cognition focuses on creating a single source of truth by bringing together data from all the different parts of your organization.
Imagine if you could have all your sales, marketing, operations data, all of it, talking to each other in one place.
hmm
You wouldn't have a million different reports with conflicting numbers.
Exactly. You get a unified picture of what's going on. That has to lead to better decisions, right?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, if everyone's working from the same, reliable information, there's less confusion, fewer mistakes, everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. That's the foundation for a smarter business.
All right, what's next?
Next, we've got AI-powered process automation.
Oh, AI. Everyone's talking about it.
And for good reason. Think about all the time your team spends on repetitive tasks. Things like processing invoices, entering data, moving documents around. It's tedious. Bear Cognition uses AI to automate all of that.
Freeing up your team's time and energy to do more important things that actually require, human intelligence.
Exactly. They can focus on problem solving, strategy, creative thinking,
Yeah.
things that a robot can't do.
So it's not just about being more efficient, it's about making your team happier and letting them use their brains for what they're good at.
Precisely. It's about raising the overall intellectual capacity of your organization. And then we have advanced analytics and predictive intelligence. This is where things get really interesting.
Ooh, tell me more.
It's about going beyond just understanding what happened in the past. It's about anticipating what's going to happen in the future.
Like having a crystal ball for your business.
Kind of. They use AI to analyze your data and build these predictive models.
So you could see market trends coming, anticipate disruptions, maybe even predict customer behavior.
Exactly. It's about having the knowledge to make proactive adjustments, to mitigate risks, to seize opportunities before your competitors even know they exist.
That sounds like a huge advantage.
It is. It's about equipping you to not just react, but to plan strategically. And in today's fast-paced world, that's essential.
Okay, so we've talked about the philosophy, the approach, some of their key focus areas. But who are the people behind all this?
Right, because technology is great, but it's the people who build it and use it that really make the difference. They've got a whole team of experts, UI, UX designers, DevOps engineers, and of course, data engineers, data analysts, data scientists.
Real brain trust.
Exactly. They've got this data lab where all these experts come together to experiment with the latest AI tech and build custom solutions. And they've got some serious expertise in areas like predictive modeling, natural language processing, and anomaly detection.
Okay, break that down for me. What does all that actually mean for a business?
Well, for example, natural language processing lets them understand customer sentiment from text data, like surveys or social media posts. Anomaly detection can help spot potential fraud or inefficiencies that would be really hard for a human to notice. And then there's intelligent document processing, which can streamline all that paperwork and reduce errors.
So it's all about using AI to make sense of information and automate processes in a way that humans just can't do on their own.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder. And all of that is built on a really strong foundation of systems infrastructure and API management.
Okay, so they've got the brains, the tech, the expertise, but do they actually deliver results?
That's the most important part, right? And from what I've seen, they're very focused on providing measurable ROI. They want to make sure that your investment in their technology is actually paying off.
So they're not just talking a big game, they're actually walking the walk.
Exactly. And they have this very client-centric approach. They're not trying to force-fit you into some generic solution. They take the time to understand your specific problems and customize the technology accordingly.
They're like business doctors, diagnosing and prescribing solutions for each individual company.
That's a great analogy. And to see this in action, let's take a look at some real-world examples of how they've helped businesses across different industries.
All right, case studies. Let's hear them.
So they worked with this 3PL firm, a logistics company, that was drowning in a mountain of invoices. It was taking forever to process them all manually.
Oof, I can imagine. That sounds like a nightmare.
Right. So Bear Cognition swoops in and implements a revenue optimization system. It used AI to analyze pricing, recommend strategies, and even automate proposal generation.
Wow, so they took a process that was totally bogging them down and streamlined it with AI. What kind of results did they see?
Pretty amazing results. Processing time was reduced by 90%. And get this, their gross margins increased by 31%.
That's a huge jump.
Huge. It's a perfect example of how they can take a real problem and turn it into an opportunity.
Okay, what else?
They also worked with a manufacturing firm that was having trouble managing all their supplier documents. There was a ton of manual entry, a lot of room for error.
And inaccurate data can really mess things up.
Absolutely. So Bear Cognition came in with their intelligent document processing solution. They used AI to extract all the key information from those documents automatically, which improved data accuracy and freed up their team from doing all that tedious data entry.
So again, it's about automating those tasks that are sucking up time and resources, letting people focus on things that actually require a human brain.
Exactly. And then there was this building materials company. They were spending hours and hours every week doing manual inventory analysis. It was a huge time sink.
And probably not very accurate either. Humans make mistakes.
Right. So Bear Cognition implemented an AI solution that can do real-time anomaly detection. So it's constantly scanning the data, looking for anything unusual.
Like a digital watchdog?
Yeah, exactly. And this saved them hundreds of hours of manual work. Plus, it improved transparency and actually made the employees happier because they didn't have to do this boring task anymore.
That's a win-win.
Totally. And we're not just talking about manufacturing and logistics companies. They've worked with everyone from a huge TV-based D2C brand to a mining safety company, even professional sports teams.
So their solutions really can be applied across industries.
Exactly. Because every business, no matter what they do, is dealing with data and processes. And Bear Cognition is all about helping them do that more intelligently.
So if a business owner is listening to this right now and thinking, okay, I need to boost my business IQ, what makes Bear Cognition different? Why should they choose them?
Well, first of all, there's that problem first, tech second approach we talked about. They're not just trying to sell you the latest gadget. They're actually trying to solve your problems.
They're consultants as much as they are tech providers.
Exactly. And then there's that SWALAS model, which gives you both the technology and the expert guidance to actually use it effectively.
So it's not just a one-time purchase, it's an ongoing partnership.
Right. And they're very focused on fast implementation and measurable ROI. They want to see you succeed.
It's not just about cool tech, it's about real business results.
Absolutely. Plus, they've got the expertise to handle everything from data governance to advanced analytics, and their solutions are scalable. So whether you're a startup or a huge enterprise, they can help you.
So they're really covering the whole spectrum.
And in a world that's becoming increasingly automated, they haven't forgotten the importance of human connection. They're not just throwing you to a chatbot. You're working with real experts who understand your business.
So to wrap things up, it sounds like Bear Cognition is offering businesses a pretty compelling path to boost their business IQ. By combining AI, automation, and data analytics with a very human touch, they're helping companies make smarter decisions and operate more efficiently.
They're basically giving businesses the tools and the guidance to think and learn like a well-oiled machine.
And that brings us to our final thought for you, dear listener. Think about all the data your company generates every single day. What's hiding in there? What insights could you uncover? What efficiencies could you unlock if you had a more intelligent approach to your operations?
It's about moving beyond just collecting data to actually using it to make your business smarter and more successful.
And if you want to explore how Bear Cognition can help you do just that, head over to their website at www.bearcognition.com. They've got all the info there, plus contact details if you want to chat with one of their experts.
It's definitely worth checking out if you're serious about taking your business to the next level.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.